Hey guys, welcome back to T-Bones Tech. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the brand new Canon RF 24 to 105mm f4L lens. Now, as we're recording this video, there is only one camera that is compatible with this lens. Of course, we expect more to come down in the future, but right now the only camera that works with this lens is the Canon EOS R. So definitely keep that in mind during this review. This lens really impressed me, and after using it for about a month, I have to say this is by far Canon's best standard zoom lens. A standard zoom lens isn't going to be great for anything, but it's going to be good for everything. The lens has a constant f4 aperture, which is actually relatively slow, but it is a consistent aperture. This is great for video, so when you zoom in, your scene isn't going to get darker. Your exposure will stay the same. On the side of the lens here, we can see our AF/MF button along with a image stabilizer on/off button. With this lens, I always leave the image stabilizer on. Usually with the older EF lenses, you want to turn the image stabilizer off if you have this lens on a tripod. But this brand new RF lens did an absolutely fantastic job of turning the image stabilizer off automatically when it's on a tripod. And as far as image stabilization goes, this lens offers 5 stops of image stabilization, which really makes a big difference in video and in photography. It also has a zoom ring lock on the other side of the lens. Not that this lens needs it because the zoom ring is actually pretty stiff, but I'm guessing when this lens gets older, the ring isn't going to be nearly as stiff, and if you have this camera on your side, it's just going to slowly zoom out, and that's why they included a zoom ring lock button, and I'm really glad they did. The lens has 3 different rings, the first being the zoom ring all the way at the end. The middle is our focus ring, and this is focused by wire now, and we no longer have a focus distance indicator on the lens. So as I'm spinning this focus ring, I'm not actually changing the focus at all. The camera needs to be powered on for this to mean anything. And then the last ring here is our control ring, and we can actually customize this ring to change a lot of different settings like our ISO, our aperture, or our shutter speed. Right now I have it set to change my aperture just like the old school lenses. And this control ring really streamlines the process of taking a picture when looking down the viewfinder. This is a sealed lens, so this lens is going to be water and dust resistant. It also has a little rubber gasket at the end of the mount to help weather seal this lens. It's also one of the first lenses to feature Canon's Nano USM autofocusing system, which is absolutely incredible. It delivers nearly silent autofocusing during video, and the focusing speed of this lens is absolutely fantastic. It is by far the fastest autofocusing lens and camera that I've ever seen. It's a fantastic autofocusing system that makes me almost want to throw away all my other L lenses. That's how good this system really is. So this lens, with its 5 stops of image stabilization, its blazing fast and silent autofocusing, makes this lens absolutely perfect for video. It features 3 aspheric and 1 UD element that's going to help reduce chromatic aberration and help with sharpness across the entire frame. It also has a circular 9-bladed aperture, which is going to help us get really beautiful looking backgrounds. The bokeh is very circular here in the middle of the frame, and as we can see here, it gets just a little bit more ovular here in the corners. Nothing too crazy, it still looks very good. Stopping down our aperture all the way down to f8, we can still see here at f8 that the bokeh is still very circular and looks very nice. Taking a look at the back of the lens, we can see it has a very nice all-metal mount, and it feels very good when mounting it to the camera. And we can also see that rubber seal, which is going to help give this lens weatherproofing. And also here we can see it has a new 12-pin communication system. This will allow for faster communication between the lens and the camera body. It also features Canon's new lens hood, so it actually has a button which is going to be used to unlock the lens hood, so you don't have to worry about it falling off. You actually have to press the button down and then spin it, and then it'll come off. I've also never heard of a lens hood falling off that didn't have this locking mechanism, but it's definitely cool to have, and it feels very substantial. It also has a 77mm filter size, and that's pretty much the standard for a lot of L lenses. Overall, this is a truly fantastic lens from Canon. It's extremely sharp, it has 5 stops of image stabilization, its autofocusing speed is absolutely insane and quiet, and honestly I think it's worth the $1,100 that Canon is asking for it. But that being said, I definitely don't expect this lens to cost that much for a long time. I'm guessing here in the next year, the price of this lens is going to drop to around $900, which makes it an absolute steal. So for current pricing and availability, I will leave a link in the description down below where you guys can check this lens out on Amazon. Amazon always seems to have the best prices. Now we're just going to take a deep dive into the image quality of this lens. Alright, so here's the first sample picture, and here we can see we shot this at 24 millimeters, all the way wide open at f4. And here at f4, we can see that our subjects are definitely in sharp focus, and our backgrounds are actually nicely blurred. Now we can also see here that our subjects' backs were to the sun, and the sun's coming in. That's going to be very challenging for most lenses, but this lens paired with the EOS R has absolutely amazing dynamic range, and here we can see that this picture actually looks really nice, and our background just looks absolutely beautiful. As far as sharpness goes, we can see we are definitely here in tack sharp focus, and the focus is right about right here, right about near the eye, which is where we'd want it. Of course, we can't see the sharpness of the eye because I have sunglasses on this picture, but overall this lens is very sharp, and here at 24 millimeters, it's going to be great and wide, and you can fit about 2 or 3 people in the frame if you're taking selfies. Alright, and now it's time for the fun pixel peeping part. So we're just going to start off by zooming into the center of the brick here, and here we can see that there's a ton of data in detail here, and that this picture is very sharp, and this is all the way wide open at f4. Now if we stop down our aperture from f4 to f5.6, we can see we gain even more detail. So again, here is f4, and then here is f5.6. Make sure to take a look at this brick right here, again f4 and then f5.6. We're definitely gaining data by stopping down this lens. Now let's go down one more stop to f8, and here at f8 we can see that it is even sharper. So this lens is going to be absolute sharpest here at f8. So this 24 to 105 millimeter lens is going to be sharp at f4, but it's definitely going to be sharpest here at f8. Alright, so now zooming into the corners to check for vignetting, we can see here at f4 there really doesn't seem to be much, but let's stop down our aperture and see if it gets any brighter. And here we can see it gets a little bit brighter, but really nothing too crazy. This lens really does not suffer from vignetting at all. So again, here's f4, take a look at the corners, and then here is f5.6, and here again we can see it gets just a tiny bit brighter at f5.6, but really not a big deal at all. Alright, and lastly, we're going to take a look at sharpness here in the edges of the screen. Here we can see that it is actually very sharp here, all the way wide open at f4, and if we stop down our aperture to f5.6, we can see it gets a little bit sharper here in the corners, and then stopping down one more time from f5.6 to f8, we can see we gain a little bit of extra sharpness here on the edge of the brick. But overall here, I think we can see this is an extremely sharp lens that is sharp across the entire frame, and it's definitely a very solid zoom lens. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below, and of course make sure to hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be notified every single time I upload a brand new video to this YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.